Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about interesting places you can visit on Amtrak.
All right, guys, so we put together our list of the top places that we think are real interesting to visit and that you can visit off of one of the Amtrak trains, one of the Amtrak train routes, I should say.
Yeah.
And
the first one is very popular.
Yes.
It's Niagara Falls. The Amtrak will take you actually right to Niagara Falls, which a lot of people don't know.
Who knew that you could go to Niagara Falls from an Amtrak train? But you can do that, and it's really one of the iconic places to visit in the United States. It's actually 3 waterfalls that make one gigantic one, and it's really quite a sight to see. It actually shares the property of Niagara Falls is split between Canada and the US, with most of it lying in the United States, but it is definitely someplace that you should go visit. It's gorgeous.
Well worth a visit, and the train to get there is the Maple Leaf. And the next place kind of that you can visit on Amtrak is Amish Country. That's a pretty unique place to go. Specifically Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yes, because there are lots of Amish communities around the U.S., but this particular area in Lancaster is kind of the oldest Amish settlement. They've been there for quite some time. There's thousands of people still living there, living in that kind of basic old style lifestyle. So it's really interesting. It's so different than the way most of us live that it's really people have become curious about their way of life. I mean, they don't drive cars and use technology and all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting to experience for sure. So
to get there, you're going to take the Pennsylvanian train. The next one on our list is Ybor City, which is in Tampa. A lot of people haven't heard of it. We've been there many times because we used to live in Tampa.
We used to live there.
But tell us about Ybor City a little bit.
Well, we always love going to Ybor City. It's such a vibrant community. There's a lot of Hispanic influence in the area, and of course, the food is amazing. You're probably going to get the best Cuban sandwich outside of Miami that you can find in Ybor City and just right by Tampa. So
to get to Ybor City, Tampa, you're going to get on the Silver Star. That's going to take you right there. After that, the next one on our list is going to be Graceland.
Yeah, Graceland. So maybe even if you're not an Elvis fan per se or grew up with his music, it's still incredibly interesting to go and to experience. And you're not just going to the mansion. They actually have a huge complex across the street, which is actually where you start your tour, and you get to see, I was amazed he had so many jumpsuits. they have so many of them on display. It was actually really quite interesting. And of course, to go across the street and to actually be inside, it's still decorated the way that it was, when the family lived there. So it's really amazing to kind of step back in time and see that.
So the train for Graceland is the City of New Orleans train, which is kind of one of the more uniquely named trains, I think, because it leaves New Orleans or goes to New Orleans, but goes north to Chicago, or from Chicago. You're going to pass right through Memphis and Graceland. Next up on the list is Vermont to see the fall foliage.
Ooh, so there's lots of places around the U.S. to see, but this is probably the most popular place to go see the fall foliage, and that is in White River Junction. It's kind of an unincorporated village, really, but the trees here are incredible. You've got to go see these colors. They're so rich that it's just, you can't even believe your eyes that you're seeing these types of colors, right?
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite things to do. Just make sure you kind of gauge what time of year you should be there. Kind of check online and see the reports. But the train you'll pick up for that is the Vermonter. And these trains are kind of cool because they're not the main cross-country long-haul routes that we talk about in some of our other videos. Which, if you want to see those are the ones that kind of go by the national parks. these trains are kind of taking us into the back roads of America, which is also really cool to do. So next up is one of those long haul trains, and it's going to take us to Fargo, North Dakota, which is an interesting place.
It is very interesting. It's actually become even more interesting after, there was a movie back in 1996, and then in 2014 there was a TV show, which I think is still going. But it just has drawn a lot of attention to the city, and they've really embraced that kind of uniqueness that they have to offer, because it's a really unique and eclectic community and area. So it's definitely a really fun place to go and just explore, and you're already on the train, you might as well hop off right there.
Yeah, so that's going to be the Empire Builder, going to take you there. The next group of places we have for you are all basically based on Route 66, and there is one train that kind of follows Route 66 from one end to the other, and that is the Southwest Chief. And you can kind of get off at different cities and see what you want, or I would recommend getting off at one of the first cities and then getting a car and then maybe driving a couple days to the next city and then getting back on the train and dropping off your car, just to kind of drive the route for a little bit. But the first city we're going to mention is Kingman, Arizona.
Ooh, Kingman, Arizona. Probably one of my favorite Route 66 towns. There's a museum there. There's so much. The entire town has really just embraced their Route 66 roots. And there's quite a few diners, a lot of classic motels that you can stay in. Like I said, you could visit the museum, which is right by, not far from the train station as well.
Yeah, and there's a great drive there too you can do, which takes you from Kingman to Seligman, which is kind of the classic, iconic inspiration for the Cars movie was done there. All kinds of amazing things to see. So I would have a video about that on the channel if you're interested in seeing what that drive looks like. The next town you could get off in is Winslow, Arizona.
That's right. And if you're there, you're going to take it easy. What do I mean by that? It's because it's famous because of the Eagles song "Take It Easy," and you actually hear it playing when you're walking around the town. It's literally, you hear Cars and you hear "Take It Easy," and they have a big mural and a whole setup on a corner with the lyrics of the song. So it's kind of cool to go there and see it and take some pictures, and you can just kind of walk around and enjoy this cute little town. It's really still thriving because of the lyrics of that song, I think.
Yeah. Next place for Route 66 is Needles, California.
All right, so Needles, California is a really unique area because it kind of sits on the in between the Colorado River and the Mojave Desert, so near the borders of both Arizona and Nevada. So that's actually a really unique area to visit, and you're going to get a pretty cool experience there. Yeah.
Next thing we're going to highlight is some of our favorite national parks that you can visit on Amtrak. The first one being Glacier National Park.
Yes, and Glacier National Park, you actually get to see it from the train. So if you don't get off, you do get to see a little snippet of it from the train. But if you are interested in seeing more and experiencing this, this kind of far off national park, then this is your best opportunity because you're not going to be very far from the park from your stop.
Yeah, you're only about 27 miles from the park. You actually can get closer for other stations, but at Whitefish you can get a car there and you can drive in and see the park for a few days. And that is on the Empire Builder. Next up we have Saguaro National Park in Arizona, just outside of Tucson.
And if you think, hey, why would I go look at a bunch of cacti? Once you see it in person and you realize how incredible they are, you're literally just drawn in so quickly to just staring at all of each key. It's like, I don't know, when I look at my roll of film, I have so many pictures of the different sizes, and standing next to them, it's like, look at how tiny I look next to this big giant cactus.
Another thing you can do on Amtrak that people don't think about is you can visit theme parks. So that's the next kind of grouping of things here is the first one is the Wisconsin Dells area.
Yes, and this, I mean, it literally just goes so close to it. You can actually see it when you're arriving to the station. You see a lot of the rides from the train, which is really cool.
Yeah, and that's going to be on the Empire Builder. So going to take you to the Dells, likely from Chicago, but you could also start in Seattle and get there on the Empire Builder. And the next up is Disney World.
Disney World, I mean, it's the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
I grew up in Florida, so I've been to Disney World a jillion times. But it's always worth going, and I always encourage people to go. And if you can, hop off a train and get to Disney World, then even easier.
Yeah, and that's going to be the Silver Star that takes you there. Also, the train that's going to take you to Universal Orlando.
Yes, and Universal is also fun. A lot of people overlook it, obviously, because of Disney, but Universal has so much to offer. As a matter of fact, when we used to live in Tampa, we had season passes, and our kids actually preferred it over Disney, which is crazy.
And then you've got Disneyland, not to be confused with Disney World, out in California.
That's right. If you grew up in Florida with Disney World, you definitely know the difference between Disney World and Disneyland. So Disneyland is in California. And it is their iconic park there. A lot of great rides. Again, it's a great place to go. And if you have the opportunity and you're already going to the area, you might as well hop off and go.
And it's easy to get to. You take the Pacific Surfliner to get there. It'll take you, right there, and it's just an easy transition there. So the next one is going to be Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg, a place a lot of people like to go check out.
Yes, Colonial Williamsburg is fun and kind of, attracts people because it's kind of like that Amish, that Amish country feel of taking you, except this is a historic trip back in time. And it's just great to experience all of the workers and actually getting the opportunity to be one of them, which is always real interesting.
So for that, you'll take the Northeast Regional Train, which is going to take you pretty close there and, not too far from the park. And just have a great vacation doing it that way. So these are some of the most unique places you can go to in America, and Amtrak takes you to so many nooks and crannies of the country, along with major big cities that if you haven't been to some of these, plan a trip out. You can kind of string these together and do something really amazing for your next vacation.
Yeah,
we totally recommend that. So
and we've got more details and information about all of these on the blog, which is up here on the screen, groundedlifetravel.com. Don't forget to go visit the blog, get more info. It should answer most of your questions. If not, leave us a comment down below with your questions. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys, and don't forget to give me a like on this video. We'll see you soon.